all here, and there's nothing sarcastic to say. We've all got drinks, so we can't kind of get up and do anything that we normally do to start the show.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody!
Yes,
Happy St. Patrick's
Day.
We're all Irish on St. Patrick's Day.
Absolutely.
We are live on Facebook, but not in podcast world.
Play the song.
Play the
Jeff.
song. I'm sorry.
Play the song, Jeff. How do we start a show? You play the song.
How do we
This
start
is
a show?
This is number 78. Really? No, I'm just gonna read the intro. You
No. We can now because it's okay.
Right, it's on the
Go
same
ahead.
thing. So, hey, welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of Lemma Champ or Lucky Track Dog you run, SEC or NASA, we don't discriminate, as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, as well as news and notes from the world of low-dollar endurance racing. Whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough and Chrissy gives us just a tip, we're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less, especially tonight. Everyone report to the paddock. Hey, this is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Thanks for coming back and listening to another Tom and Jerry episode of our podcast. Hey, they turned 78 this year. It's our episode 78.
Mm-hmm.
We do as many stupid things as they do, so that fits. So if you're not driving, don't forget your bingo card.
Oh, I gotta open mine.
Bingo cards.
I have no
as well.
bingo card. I have
I
not
got bingo
I know,
card.
I do
bingo
too.
carding tonight.
We all got to get to bingo cards. And so now normally we'd start our show with what you're working on.
But
That is our show tonight, is what you're working on. So we're going to skip right over what you're working on and go right to news.
Oh, no.
Jeff.
That's terrible. Hold on a second. I'm opening my bingo card.
Well,
Wait.
yeah.
I'll be there in a second.
Wait, why are we... What? Jeff?
Oh.
Jeff has
well,
the
no, he's got to lead into the news and notes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I do.
I'm going to take it, Jeff. Supercars, folks.
No.
You want one, but lottery tickets. They're getting expensive. And if you have a supercar and you open it up on a regular road,
I do.
yeah,
And-
you go
And
to,
I do.
Yeah. But every
We
time
don't go
you
to
see a
jail.
cop, you jump on the brakes because
We're
you
fine.
know you will go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
So, as always, folks, check out Extreme Experience because they will put you in the driver's seat of some of the world's best supercars at over 20 racetracks in America and Canada with no speed limits, no shifting restrictions, and no governors. Awesome cars, Hellcat wide body, Porsche GT3, Nissan GTR, you know the cars, Lambos, Ferraris. Awesome instructors like Jeff, Chris, and me next weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway on the internal road course. And I know, it's getting kind of expensive, Mental.
I was going to do the voice.
Go for it. It's all you, homie.
Wait. You're telling me I can drive a supercar?
You
But
are,
is it that expensive?
You are much louder than he is.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry.
Phrases that have never been said before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we turned Mental's microphone volume down.
Sorry.
This
I
is
will
this
use
is
the
for
other
the
technique.
this is for the
Normally-
benefit of our listeners. Is let's turn
normally-
Mental down.
But wait, Mental, is it that expensive?
That was
Normally,
correct.
Camel no filtered smoking guy, it is expensive. However, we here at Everyone Racers have got your back because if you go to xxp.com and you enter the discount code Everyone Racers, all one word, that's going to get you 25% off when you book. So, Extreme Experience, folks, it's your turn.
It's your turn. Okay, so we are...
News and notes.
News and notes.
Got it. Right?
We're good.
So, I don't even know how... We're still celebrating Women's History Month. Awesome sauce. Michele Mouton. Michelle. Born June 23rd, 1951. French former rally driver. Somebody else filled this in and said that we have another notable woman driver, which is awesome sauce. Competing in the World Rallying Championship for the Audi factory team, she took 4 victories and finished runner-up in the Drivers' World Championship in 1982, shortly before I was born. She's still the last woman to compete in the top-level rallying. She also won the top leader prototype class in 24-hour Le Mans in 1975. Fantastic.
And she was the factory driver for Audi when Audi was the gods of rally.
And love to hear about women, fantastic drivers. I still say it's sad to have this topic that we say, oh, look, here is a woman who's notable, and she did great things. But I'm happy to note them.
Yes. Now,
Cool.
there are some races going on. The 100-acre woods going on. Our friend Santiago sent us the entries for that. We know that the Lemons folks ran. We know that WRL's at Barber. And we don't have any of those results because all of those folks right now are towing their race cars home. And we will get those to you next Friday.
Yep. Next show, we're going to have that for you, which is fantastic. And,
We have. Oh, go on. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say I was going to transition to what dinner was going on tonight.
Please do. Please. That's
Yes.
So this is St. Patrick's Day, and we were working hard at our craft with our vehicles.
Sure.
But we had to stop early because we had
did.
dinner guests.
Sure.
And we actually got heat from one of our dinner guests because we always say hi to Chrissy's mom. And we never say hi to Chrissy's sister, who is almost as devoted as a listener. So, Jen and that blockhead dog.
Bear.
Bear.
Don't. Bear gave me a shout out on the Instagram this week.
Bear has an Instagram.
Because we were hanging.
Okay. Yes. So hello to all of Chrissy's family who is
Thank
here
you.
for dinner.
Right, yeah, they all came over for
And
dinner
we now
tonight.
have two folks watching us on the YouTubes.
Oh.
Bruce and Jim McGuire.
Fantastic.
They have
Hey,
nothing else to do but
and
watch
speaking
us.
of dogs, you've got to be at least a little bit curious about what happens
Heck
at Lucky
yeah.
Dog.
Heck yeah.
Hey, we reported our experience, but you need to experience it for yourself. They're going to be at the Ridge, which is one of my favorite tracks in the whole country. Out of like the 20-something that I've driven, it's great. They're almost sold out. There's 70 cars max. Get in there soon. Early dog discounts end March 27th. Dogs Camping Jamboree is August 9th to 11th. It's basically a race, but without the cars. So all that fun time you have hanging out with all the people in the paddock, that's
Drink,
like
hangover.
half of the good time of a race.
Yep, no problem.
Yeah.
It's that.
No cars.
Without worrying about fixing your janky-ass hoopty. So go do that. That's
Like
great.
What would I
Where-
do at a race if I didn't have a janky ass hoop
that
You'd
rare
hang out with
weekend when
people.
Your car comes off the
True.
track and you're like
You
you're
talk to
doing
a
well,
lot more people.
and you just real quick you torque the lug nuts,
Yeah.
you check the oil, and you're like, all right guys, let's go walk around and have
That's
some
like
fun.
that's like when
That
we drive
never
Hamza's
happens.
car.
Right?
That's what it is, basically.
Unless
Yeah.
the wheel falls off. I guess then.
So I have a
Well, no,
question.
but then we still like, well, wheel fell off. Grab a drink. Let's go walk around and talk
Right?
to people.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why are we busting our balls to get this damn Z done?
Because the
We can
racing's fun still,
It's
too.
true. It's true.
So,
And
We need the
Z's
Z
gonna-
done
the
anyway.
Z's going to dominate.
and don't forget,
gonna
Lucky Dog Racing is now in
dominate.
Canada, and Calaboogie is only 7.5 hours from here. It's closer than CMP.
Actually.
Ooh.
It's actually slightly closer in New Hampshire.
Wouldn't it
And
be
what month is that?
August.
Would it, May and
We already have a
May
race
and
in
August.
But it's a
right?
different.
June and
it's
August.
2
June
weeks
and
later.
August.
Ah.
So we need to consider that. But that's fun. Good for them.
If you guys can't hear that, that's the sound of wheels starting to turn.
Oh no!
Oh,
These
yeah.
wheels started to turn last show.
Right? Because
So-
I told you how close it
All
was.
this information is available for you at
Dun.
racelucky.com. They've got all this stuff. It's a great series. We enjoyed being partners with them. You'll enjoy racing with them. Just do it. So
Absolutely.
Hey, real quick before we go to the next segment. So we actually have now picked up Jim McGuire's listening to us. Bruce is half asleep, but he's listening to us. Enthusiastic Rock is following us right now live on the YouTube. Solman 254.
that's Craigers.
I was going to say, which is Craigers. So, yeah. Hey, guys, thanks for joining us on the YouTube. I'm giving
Because
those
you're
guys
that. No,
shout-outs.
that was a
I
high.
just feel sad for all those people that they have no lives and that they are watching us right now. So
I don't know.
It's Sunday at 11:30.
or they're
right now,
drunk.
so
St. Patrick's Day. They're
be
probably
both.
they're probably drunk.
yeah. But
Okay.
there's not a whole lot to
Oh.
do other than go to bed.
And Donnie just showed up because, of course, he did.
So is
That's
he on bath salts
perfect
because he's from
timing.
Florida?
He's actually
Okay.
he's
Wait.
not sure if he's in
Oh.
Florida or California
Oh,
right now.
he knows where he is. You don't know where he is.
Kreger says we have no idea how drunk he is.
Perfect.
Nice.
Thanks, Craigers.
Craigers, I have the meat sweats. How about you?
Because we
Okay.
had all the salted meat tonight.
We
So-
totally
So
did.
what's
So
the
much.
next segment?
Listener feedback time. Who's starting it? Me
You.
or you, Mental? Because we're
You,
talking
you.
about the same topic.
We are, and you go for it, and then I'll get caught up.
So Donnie P, who just joined us on the live, hello
Hey,
Donnie,
Donnie.
was complaining because Mental said that it was a different Donnie that won the Concours de Le Mans at Amelia
No,
Island.
I had the right Donnie. I had the wrong location.
So many Donnies.
I don't know. There's
Is-
too many
is that another bingo,
Donnies.
the car that Mental was wrong.
Mental was wrong.
fine,
Mental was
got it.
wrong.
No, it's on the
But anyway,
bingo card.
so
My
so
mental
we.
is right.
I just want to clear up the facts. It was Donnie P, Florida man, purple. What is that thing? The
It was
slab.
Saturn.
Purple slab driver from the rally. We talked about him. We talked about his purple slab,
And his
but he
sweet
had his
Saturn.
Saturn Ion red line.
Competition
That was
package.
a competition package. That was a former GRM competitor.
Really?
That's why he has
Oh,
those
and
stickers.
he still rocks the numbers on.
Cool.
it.
So the Facebook feed was basically mental is wrong, Jeff is right, and then it totally devolved into it was Matt F. and Donnie basically complaining because my truck is not nearly as manly as theirs. And the Nissan Titan is just not as good as a 3/4 ton Suburban.
Well, you did buy it from some ladies who prefer the company of other ladies.
That's right. Chrissy has something to say in the corner over there.
This truck is so hot.
Why are you
You
whispering?
got to talk loud.
This truck is so hot.
It's
That's
well,
fine.
especially compared to his janky ass.
No, it
Cadillac.
doesn't matter.
So.
It's one of those things that I walked to my neighbor's house. I had to. I will talk about what we were doing at our house this week. I borrowed a pressure washer, brought it back, came back, and I walked by, and I was like, "That
truck
is
is
so
awesome."
Yeah.
hot!
Much better than our.
It's so hot.
Much better than our beige Suburban.
I mean, I love our beige Suburban. Like, it is fantastic. But I walk by this truck. It's like my car, right? Like you walk by a car, and you're saying, "Gosh,
So
that car looks so good." That truck looks so good.
Finish your Donnie story.
That is the end of my
Okay,
part of
well,
the Donnie story.
So my part of the Donnie story. So Donnie actually immediately after we posted that episode, he put a screen capture on the Instagram of him listening to our show. And today, hashtagged it today on the Everyone Races podcast. Mental Ward is somehow convinced that Amelia Island is in California. And yes, Jeff, it has numbers on it, and they are functional. I apologize because we were thinking Hoopticon, what Jeff said. And Donnie comes back and goes, actually, I'm more concerned about being known as Florida Man Donnie than anything else. You don't think I'm going to eat your face, do you?
Basalts!
And Donnie, it's not so much that
Basalts!
we're-
No,
I don't think
he's
you're going
gonna
to
throw
eat.
an alligator to drive through
Yeah,
window.
I don't think you're going to eat our face, but there's some face eating, probably happening in Florida.
So I believe Craigers is listening to us, right?
Yeah.
I think
Craigers
you
is
have some
listening
listener
to
us. I
feedback
do
from
have some
Craigers.
listener feedback from
meat and
Craigers.
Scotch, which
Yep.
surprises
And-
no one who's
and-
ever met Craigers.
And kilts.
And kills.
So
Action skirts.
Krager sent me an email and said, "Hey, funny story. I'm listening to the podcast while working on the Del Sol, which is fantastic because I'm running with Kragers at the CMP 24, so I want the Del Sol fixed. Thanks, Kragers." So anyway, he said the headlights won't fit right on the damaged side because Kurt Heat keeps hitting BMWs, so he's hammering the piss out of the front supports to get everything lined up. And we're talking about camera adjustments, and he said, I'd probably just change that. All the stuff he's doing. So we pull out the level. Turns out he had accidentally added 2 degrees of camber without knowing how.
by pounding the frame.
Yes. Yep.
Hell yeah.
So he had a very important tip for our listeners. Check your alignment last
Yes.
after you've done all of the other things because you never know what's going to change
Hell
it.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's a quick thing.
And I'll add one extra little bit here. If you can check your alignment with the weight of a driver in the car, do that too.
Ooh.
Yes,
Because it
Even if-
changes your height just
Yeah, it
We
slightly.
can talk about that.
And you could go down to the if you're still doing everything solo, you could pop down to any thrift store or just buy weights, and
Yep.
and you don't have to lie about your weight. Be honest about your weight and drop all those plates in
Well,
that seat.
what's fun is that on our team there is a scope of weights.
There it is.
Wait, everyone. This is where Jeff gets called a fat ass.
No.
No.
I'm telling you, it's coming. It's coming.
It goes from Jim to Chrissy.
I'm pretty sure I weigh more than you, Jeff. I'm just thinner.
It goes from Jim to Chrissy, so we've got to do that. So you don't actually have to use weights like we usually do. We usually go to the gym downstairs and grab the weight plates and go put those in.
Right.
But the other
We've
thing
done
we can
that. We've
do
done
is
that.
we just find heavy things in the garage and put them on the scales ahead of time and just start sticking them in the driver's seat. Like we put spindles.
I said, well, you've got
and
transmissions,
right? And with batteries,
a low cost frame,
right? We put all kinds of whatever we can find, and until the weight gets right, and we're good. So that's another thing to do.
That actually
Please
works.
remember that. So what else?
Honestly, if you've got one of my favorite dogs I don't own, and maybe he's a little plump, Bear's never going to stay in a seat. Never mind. I don't know where I was going
no.
with that. Bear would be
That dog is not
You
jumping
can't
in.
get him in a car. Come on. You'd be like, no.
For those that weren't here, it's Jen's dog Bear, which is
Thank
about
my sister's dog.
180-pound chocolate lab that is the biggest goober you've ever
He's
met.
pretty big goober.
He was towing the Suburban around yesterday. We brought him down here to hang out with us.
So one last piece of listener feedback. Chris Egan actually was messaging me because he heard and followed us as we cleaned the 300Z lifters last time at Bruce and Greg's house. And he said, I need to know how to do that because my lifters are clicking like mad in my Saab. And I said, well, just look up how to do your lifters because I don't know how to do your lifters. So I gave him the link to how we did our lifters, and he said, this is great because no one in the Saab community will ever admit that their car is broken. So they don't... So they don't do fix-it videos because that would admit that your car is not perfect.
None of them? Like, nothing?
Like, that's what he said. He said there are no, how
Saabs
to
are like,
fix.
we're
No, it's perfect.
fine.
I'm Swedish. It's perfect. The Saab is perfect. Don't bother.
I eat meatballs, and
Yes.
it's all good. The
Exactly. The trolls from Trollheim
built
it
correctly. Okay.
Now that is actually...
So,
Fantastic.
so why doesn't someone introduce what's going on this weekend?
So, since Chris is over there rehydrating, it is...
This is apropos for the show.
That's right.
This is how it works.
Normally, see, what we do, folks watch us on YouTube, is one of us will go, and then we take our headphones off,
Or
and then
just
we go and
leave.
grab a beer.
No,
Yeah,
or
and then we
just
come
leave.
back.
Literally
Yeah,
leave.
so
You're like if there's a
Yeah.
timeout time when nobody is talking, and you're like, oh wait,
boom.
oh yeah,
So,
he went away.
anyway, main topic time!
Hey, topic talk.
Do it.
Which is why we didn't have a what you working on, because we're all here. It's a work weekend, duh. So what are we working on? We're working on race cars. Jeff talked about
We're working on a liver too. Our liver is getting a
that's
workout.
true. Our liver is getting a hell of a workout. So the CNC Mayhem Factory has a garage full of race cars right now, and I'll say we've made some kind of badass progress. The Z is now it's fully caged, right? Yeah. And so Bruce came up, and Bruce and Jeff were doing some mad fabbing. I'm a big fan of the Pareto principle, where 20% effort will get you 80% of the results. And the work weekend you guys got that main hoop, which was a pain in the butt. You guys get the main hoop bent, and then what was killing us now is we had to put the 80% of effort to get the last 20%. The door bars, all the fish mouthing, all the little grommets, and everything that's got to go to finish a cage. And as of today, at about
I asked him to introduce it, and he's telling all my story.
Oh,
That's okay.
so I have to say, Bruce is on
live feedback.
Yeah, right, live feedback. Bruce is like, so that we should bang the fridge to get the ice out. We have a problem with our fridge and ice.
The Sub-Zero fridge freezer is a wonderful thing.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But the chute, it's a long, ridiculous chute that gets the ice. It doesn't make any sense, but it's like some things Mercedes doesn't make any sense either. But that they did it anyway.
Well, I noticed that in the Sub-Zero, or at least your Sub-Zero, the ice dispenser is actually in the refrigerator door.
Yes, that's why it's a long, circuitous route for the ice to go, and that route tends to get frosty. Who'd have thought?
BRB.
All right.
All right,
So-
Mental is getting up and fixing the camera,
So,
which just fell
for those
off.
not watching, the camera just fell down.
Boom. I'm
That's
sorry.
fantastic.
Ouch. People, right? Okay, hold on. We're coming back.
Okay.
It's all
Well, it
good.
doesn't matter. The podcast is still
The
rolling.
podcast
so.
continues.
So,
Anyway, the chute of ice gets frosty, and the ice doesn't flow well, so you have to slam.
that was like a Heil. I'm sorry. I don't mean a Heil.
It's 2 points.
I'm
2
Heil-
points.
I'm Heiling. Some of our friends are asking if we're working tomorrow because it's almost midnight. We are not working tomorrow.
No.
All of us. So 3 of us have taken off work. We are saying no.
We've adopted the mental lifestyle for
We're
the
going to
day.
say Monday we're not working, and
Oh.
Jeff is going to call in now.
Jeff, you're not feeling well, right?
I have a disability.
Disability.
Cranial
anal aversion? Is that your
no. It's close. It's anal glaucoma, which is I just don't see my ass going to work.
Right.
So,
well, you don't have the problem. So we already knew that you were staying here longer. You're like, I'm going home on Tuesday. Okay, fine.
The only way Mental knows that today is Sunday is the big paper came.
Right.
So,
and we have no papers that came
that's where
today.
the good coupons are, because I don't have a job, so I have to cut all those.
So we were all saying, like, we all knew that we were going to take off today. The three of us did, and then we were just like, Jeff, I think I gave you the flu that I had from last week.
No, it wasn't that as much as I was like, we are not getting that crap done in 2 days.
Oh, hell yeah.
I knew we needed another day.
Yeah.
Which, not to say that we didn't get a buttload of work.
Just check it off on your bingo card now. I'm going to complain about work. I worked my tookies off all week last week.
Don't care.
Wasn't it spring break?
Like it was spring break, and I averaged like 10 hours a day, and all of my coworkers were taking days off. And so I said, I'm taking a day off, and it just happened to be the Monday.
How's your hair?
It's great.
Because the Jeff talks about working too much is lined up with someone has crappy internet.
I know.
And
Nobody's going to have crappy internet
No,
today.
tonight's great, actually.
Okay, so that's why we're all here tonight.
Cool.
Somebody asked.
So it's a work weekend in progress. Who wants to start us off on what we've been doing this weekend? Because we have worked our butts off.
I can start.
Great.
So
Please do.
I will shout out to Bruce, the half brains and half brawn of the operation.
He's on there.
Bruce, you are out there. That little dude can really yank the handle on that bender. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
You can yank it.
You can yank it.
Oh no.
So yeah, so we were completing the
it's
door
two-handed.
bars. We did NASCAR style door bars on the passenger side. We did modified NASCAR, would you say?
Yeah.
I mean,
let's call it rally style.
No, it's not rally style. It is a NASCAR door bar with a kick.
Yeah.
So that way they are not parallel.
Yes.
Now, and I'm gonna play Jeff here for a second. We
Talk right into your mic, Mental.
What are NASCAR bars? We're
So-
talking about door bars and building
Thank
a
you.
race.
Thank
So
you very much.
NASCAR style door bars are typically, they look like a ladder, and they bend from the main hoop to the front bar, like the one that goes through the dashboard, the one that goes down, and they bend into the door,
Outward from the driver.
outward away from the driver. They travel into the door, travel down the door, and they re-enter the car to hit the not out the door skin, like where the window lives.
They come
and
back
all
inside
those
the
things.
rocker.
They come inside the rocker and they attach to the down bar, so they give you more room inside. Now that is not what we did in the Honda, and not our favorite kind of bar. But the Z is tiny, right? I mean, there's no way to say it's a 92 300 92.
Yeah.
92 300ZX, and it is tiny. The cockpit is tiny.
Yeah.
It's a 2+0, so there's no back seat, and it's small. There's just no way around it.
Yep. Absolutely.
Actually, and I'm a big fan, especially in these tight cars, of NASCAR bars because it gives you something to sit on when you're trying to climb in the car really quickly.
Fortunately, the Z has big doors for the size of its cabin.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you've got the car where the doors are small and you can't do a proper NASCAR bar, and you have to get an S bend or a reverse bend or something like that, which is why we use what we like for the Civic, which is it's a
Like
modified
an
X.
X. Yeah.
We just do one bend on the top bar that's a fairly decent sized bend, and then the same bend on the bottom bar, and those two meet in the middle, and we weld the two together and then put a taco gusset in addition to some other supports in there, so that that gives you that extra
And I think
room.
that's a rally style because you kind of want that
no, but
low.
it's not really an X.
No.
The top bar
No.
bends down, and the bottom bar bends up to where they kiss in the center.
Yeah.
right, but and then you do the taco gussets, and as you mentioned,
it doesn't look like a normal X bar because it doesn't. The thing I like about it is that you're not cutting any tubing. You have a whole tubing and a whole tubing, and they both just touch together, and not do anything else.
Chrissy, no one on YouTube could hear that. All right, she loves tacos.
I love tacos.
Yep.
And she's not that drunk.
No.
She's just having a good time because she's not going to work tomorrow.
She's just passionate.
No,
she's
I
that
also
passionate about
really
tacos.
just like tacos.
We should mention for those on the podcast that Chrissy is wearing the goofiest shamrock green What the hell is that thing? I'm not really sure.
Oh, it's a headpiece.
It's a headpiece.
It's a headpiece.
It's a headpiece. I'm going to go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, hairband.
Yep.
And you sell the tutu?
No,
Yeah. We lost it, too.
Tutu's behind you.
It was losing too much glitter on every surface she sat on. So.
I hate glitter. I love the tutu, but I hate glitter.
So I'll just finish up with what I was working on.
Please do, Jeff, because you worked on a lot.
Hey,
I did.
Dave Carpenter's on.
Dave
now.
Carpenter! Uncle Dave. I also, the clutch hose. We need to talk about the clutch hose. So we changed.
Should I give some of the backstory on this?
Yeah, I was going to say,
Okay.
we are changing.
As part of the motor swap in the Civic, we are changing from a cable-operated clutch to a hydraulically operated clutch. There is no room on the firewall to mount a clutch master cylinder.
Nope.
Just not even close.
No.
Because it wasn't. Honda didn't think about it. It's not going to happen.
What kind of a person's going to do that?
Right. So, yes, there are ways that you can buy a variety of kits for several $100s that might make something work, but this is lemons.
Not lemony.
So what I did is I bought a $12 master cylinder from a 95 Civic, and I pulled the pedal cluster out, and I found some scrap in the bin because Jeff had all my steel, and I found a way to mount that under the dash. Now, by doing so, there is no room for this because there's not supposed to be any room for it. It doesn't work at all. It is about 1.5 inches from the bulkhead of the
It was about
dash.
an inch until we porta-powered it up.
Yep. So there's no room at all, but we have to run a hydraulic line out of this. First, actually, two. One for the supply of the fluid,
Which is rubber.
Yep, and then one hard line out to up forward in the car to get to the slave cylinder.
So my brother Jim was here Friday, so he knew what the job was, and he had kind of already started making the bend.
Yep, and Jim is very good at detailed, thought-provoking projects. If you give Jim a detailed project, say, Jim, here's a weird thing. I need you to figure this out from several levels and come up with a solution and implement it. That's right up Jim's alley.
Yeah.
And not only that, while I was like fiddling with the cooling system, we'll talk about in a second, Jim would come over and go, "What are you thinking?" And I would verbalize my thought process, and he always had a, "Have you considered this?" Or if you do that, this is going to rub and it's going to tear through that. So
You're also really good at like standing there for a really long time and
telling
Thinking.
stories.
Yes. So back to the clutch line.
Yes.
So the clutch master has a 45-degree pointed, like the barb comes out 45 degrees, the hard line, and it faces directly at the unibody.
Yeah.
Like there is like an inch.
No, this does not fit.
This does not fit.
And this is interesting because Kreger's is telling us right now that we should have talked to him because he has a hydro conversion from the CRX that he kept after it was trashed.
Sorry, Kreger.
Sorry, Kreger's. So basically, we porta-powered the body of the car away from this. This was like, put your hand like into the butthole of the cow.
Basically, you were removing a kidney through the ass.
It was terrible.
And folks, if you're listening to this podcast and you're having trouble visualizing this, go to our YouTube channel because Jeff just did this yoga thing with his arm. You
need 3 extra joints.
Yeah, he looks like he rode in the front of the Snowpiercer train. Everything has its purpose.
Very good.
Also, like you're like pushing the hard tube.
Yeah, he's pushing a rope.
It was. There was a lot of rope pushing.
But you didn't tell anybody that you're pushing it, so you're just like.
Oh wait, keep going.
So anyway, so my brother and I fought that for like
a day,
2 hours.
Oh yeah.
And then today I fought it for like 20 minutes. I said, Chris, I'm disassembling everything you did.
Which is fine.
I did it, and I took care of it. And that's really what we should have done in the beginning. So
we should drop the column and then drop the pedals.
This is the tip for everyone out there. If you're having a very hard time fiddling with something, attack it a different way.
The disassembling, because I was on cooling system duty and that was my job, and I kept staring at it, and I think I've completely taken out that cooling system, put it back in 7 times today.
Yeah,
and you do get this mentality of, oh, it's going to take too long, I'm just going to do this, when it's the labor intensive answer is the quickest answer. Just take it all apart before you break something. And I'm actually kind of happy with the way it all played out once I got it all bolted in.
Yeah, it all in the end it works great actually.
Yeah.
So and just to fill everyone in, because I know Bruce is asking and everyone on the team is asking, is the motor on the Z running No.
So it's clean. It's so clean.
Yeah, we took it out.
We haven't tried yet, though. It's not.
No,
a
it's
failure.
not
We haven't tried.
The PCV reroute is very confusing, and I had to stop because I need to stop and do more research because the instructions on the Z32 wiki don't make sense.
Sure. Well, a little background here: the Nissan Z32 is a double cam V6 shoved in a space it has no business being in.
Yeah.
And Nissan could have designed an extra 3 inches into the front of the car, and they didn't.
No.
So everything is packed together. It is very difficult to work on, and yeah. And there's a failure. There's actually a problem with the piece. Most of it has to do with the intake manifold. That if you have never taken it off before from Nissan, it takes over an hour to remove the intake manifold with all the things on it. So we're removing a lot of those things. And also the PCV system is not designed for sustained high G cornering, which we're
gonna do.
Yeah. If we're doing it right, it's
right.
going to do nothing but sustain.
So all it'll do is just suck oil into the intake manifold and burn it. And the problem is we're going to run out of it. So we have to remove the PCV from the lower side of the valve covers to the upper side of the valve covers. So the actual oil won't be sucked through, but the vents still will.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Which there's the guys down in I've run against them in Barber a couple times. And they run they apparently had that figured out because it's the cockroach themed 300Z, and I never saw that thing smoking, but that's very interesting. So they've done that reroute and
Probably.
There is also on the Z32 wiki a PCV removal.
Yes.
And it is one step further from the PCV reroute.
But I feel like it's nice to have that because you have to vent the crankcase somehow.
Yeah.
And you can't just block it up.
Well, they just do a breather, I think. Yeah,
Well,
I know.
like,
we don't want that.
No.
We would rather have the reroute.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're working on that.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the end of my story. I have a
That's
PPE story for later, but
you did a ton of bending.
I did a ton of bend. That's what we
Fish
said.
melting.
I said we did the door bars.
Do
So
you want
Bruce
to
and I.
Do you want to talk anything about like what the challenges you had in bending or like what,
Cars. Can I swear?
Yeah.
No, we never
Like
cuss
it's
on the
YouTube.
show.
Are we allowed to swear on YouTube?
Who gives a shit?
Cars fucking tiny. That's the answer.
Yep.
No, I mean Bruce and I did a great job.
Oh, yeah.
Like Bruce made it happen, and we talked it out, and there was a lot of no, it's 3 inches from that line. No, it's 3 inches from that line. No, it's 3 inches that line. It's 3 inches that line, and it worked out.
Shut
We all
up,
got
you
the-
midget.
Shut yeah, exactly.
Something like that.
I said, short man, go away. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You
Actually,
know.
this
Leave me
morning,
alone. I know what I'm doing.
this morning I came out and I started to weld, and for a few minutes I was singing the praises of Jeff and Bruce. I was telling them how wonderful a job they did about doing the.
Stick around, Bruce. It's going to take a turn.
Oh yeah. How wonderful a job they did at doing all the bends. Like these are fantastic. Like the bars fit perfectly.
They did do a good job
Like,
on that aspect
The
of it.
I love the design of it.
The other shoe is going to drop.
Everything's real tight. Like it looked great. Like this is gonna be easy weld. And then I laid down like in the lotus position to weld some of the to weld those in, and I see the gap at the bottom on the other side, and I go, Jeff, I take it all back.
Not only that, but you said, dude, you put the tube right where I wanted it, but you didn't leave me any room to weld.
Yeah. So it was a challenging weld, but I did
yeah.
manage to get 360 welds and everything, of course. Eric
that's what's
and
required.
judges and things.
Yes.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
no, actually, I did. I
Yeah,
did manage
we
to get
did.
them. It was just with great difficulty, and I had to bend things out of the way, and it was a pain in the ass. But the end result is fantastic. So no, seriously, kudos to Jeff and Bruce for designing, bending, fitting, fish mouthing, everything. A quality set of door bars.
I was going to say
on
that
both
was
sides.
a theme because the down bars, Bruce was doing part of it from sitting inside the hatch, and I had to do part of it like from outside the hatch, reaching around the hatch and into the window.
So you had to reach around with Bruce.
I had to reach around, and I was welding, and I had basically what is that like the window there? Is that like the hat? It's like the 3/4 window.
Right, the quarter.
Yes,
the quarter.
yeah.
It's a
quarter
little-
glass.
the
Right
little
past the
quarter
B-pillar.
glass. Yeah, the
Right.
B-pillar. And it's got like a dark tint on it.
Yeah.
So I was welding without my mask on because I couldn't see through the goddamn window.
Because of dark tint.
Because of dark tint. So I'm like,
that's close enough. That's
close
fine.
enough.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Right.
It worked.
Now we did get some more listener feedback that we talked about on the Facebook. The picture of you actually working on the clutch on the Civic, and a couple of the good jokes were on there was while you were on your back, feet up in the race chair.
That's called the Lotus position, because if you've ever had a Lotus, you've had to fix. You've had to fix wiring under the dash. It goes for any British car, actually. Any British car owner has done that.
I had an MG midget, and you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Every British
I was
car
going
owner
to say
has
my
done that.
Miata too. So.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Same
So
thing.
my buddy Dustin pointed out that would have been a perfect time to walk over there and just drop a fart on him when he's trapped and he can't get out quickly. And Dan Sykes mentioned that we call that race yoga. And DC Doug typed, and I quote,
Hey, Doug.
worst period position period ever. Period.
Yep.
If I were in the Kama Sutra, and that ancient text would have never made it to modern times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, someone else talk about what you did, because everybody did a lot of work.
All right. I'll go next. I did a lot of adult supervision this weekend, which is it's typically my role on these kind of things. As Bill Fisher has said, he said to me once, like, we see you as kind of like the adult in the room for most of the stuff that goes on in the weekend. And okay, sometimes. So I actually focus a lot of my efforts, especially early on oil pan baffles.
Oh, yes.
This is great, by the
And
way.
we're going to have a great video. We're going to edit it. It's going to be fantastic.
So oil pan baffle, it's important to control the oil that's going in your pan so it's getting to the pickup and you don't starve it. And the motor we're putting in now has a timing chain, giving a lot away, but it has a timing chain. And what happens in long...
Honda nerds have figured it out.
Yeah. Long left-hand corners, the oil can climb up the timing chain case and away from the oil pickup. So we're trying to find a way to keep that oil where it needs to be, and we have it's a crappy, just stamped steel oil pan in the engine we have. It's not a good one. This is not a performance motor we're putting in. It's really just, it's a commuter car motor. So anyway, I made a baffle, and the way we made the baffle, which is... this is the first time I've done it this way, and I'm kind of pleased with myself about how I did it. So it's a difficult thing because there's balance shafts in the way. The oil pan, it's hard. Like, there's not a lot of room. You don't know exactly where it is, and it's tight fit. So I went to Walmart before work one day, and I found the Play-Doh, and I looked for the darkest color Play-Doh they had because I knew I was going to stick it in an oil pan. It's going to get dirty. So
and it all ends up purple.
For
anyway.
$1.50, I got a whole bunch of Play-Doh. And I made a little wall of Play-Doh where I wanted the baffle to be in the oil pan, and I stuck the oil pan up on the motor, and it squished out to be exactly where I needed it to be. So then I took the Play-Doh out. I put the Play-Doh on some cardboard. Chrissy is adjusting the temperature, which is great in the house. Yep. So I took the Play-Doh, put it on the cardboard, traced it onto the cardboard, cut that out, test fit that on the motor. It looked all right, and then I did a little trimming, and then I put it onto steel and cut that out and did some more trimming. But that's how I figured out exactly how I can keep it nice and tight to the engine.
And there are also one-way flaps in this. You want to explain that real quick?
Well, you want oil to flow back to the pickup, but you don't want it to flow away. So you put a little trap door in it, and the easiest way to have a trap door is a crappy door hinge. So part of it was
not even a door, like a cabinet hinge.
Yeah, exactly. It's called the utility hinge. So part of it is I asked Chrissy's dad, who has an amazing amount of junk in the basement, and I said, "Hey, do you have any just old hinges around, like small, like really tiny little hinges in your drawers and drawers and buckets of stuff?" He's like, "Yeah, of course I do." So he sent those up, and I got those, and I went to Walmart for.
And being Chrissy's dad, he knew exactly where they were. Third bin, fourth one down, third container.
I don't know about that. He has an incredible set of drawers and workbenches and things downstairs, mostly because I helped him build the drawers. No, he had the idea, but we helped him implement it. Chrissy helped a lot, too. Actually, one weekend, Chrissy and I finished building the drawers. It was great. So anyway,
Chrissy touched her dad's drawers. That's all I wanted to say.
That's terrible, John.
It really is.
So, he's a nice man.
Well, but he's also, he's...
Look, Pedro is great. I hung out with him all...
Yeah, Pedro is a great guy. No, but he's like old school man's man, electrician,
Sure.
Well,
he's an electrical engineer with a master's degree that works at a nuclear power plant. He's not an electrician.
This is mental math. This is mental math right here. Right now, everybody.
My point is we all know people that intelligent, but they can't find their car keys.
Dig out.
But he
dig
can
out. Dig out.
So mental stop.
That's right.
Anyway,
just go back to the story.
he gave me hinges.
He did
That's
the
all we
lighting
need to
in your
know.
basement.
He gave me hinges.
Just get to the hinges.
And he knows how to do all the wiring. Like anytime that actually we've done this multiple times. He needs something done in his car. I need something wired in my house. We
Chrissy makes dinner.
No, we divide. Right, we divide and conquer. And it all gets done 5 times faster than we would have been doing the other thing. So it works out wonderfully. So anyway,
Chrissy's coming over to defend herself.
No, because
she was
I'm
pouring
doing,
a beverage.
I was, and no, I am
Keep
doing all of the. I'm fishing
Oh,
through our.
Chrissy
I
has
am
helped her
doing
dad a
just
tremendous
as
amount,
much with
working
him
hard on this. Yeah,
every project.
Yep.
Just saying.
Look,
Got
it's mental math.
I know. So anyway,
So yeah, go back
we
to the
keep
oil
moving.
pan.
So anyway, he gave me hinges, and I bought some
Ass.
more at Walmart. But these are just crappy utility hinges. So I welded these into the baffle. So I had the baffle in place, and then cut a notch out to just slightly smaller than the hinge. Welded the hinge to the baffle in the right direction, obviously, for which way the flow is going to go. And there you go. It's that simple. But here's an important safety tip, kids. When you buy most things like hinges, if they're steel, they're going to have a zinc coating on them.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Now,
You
this is
must-
a top tip.
This seriously, take it from me. Metal fume fever is terrible.
I'm
you do
down.
not want metal fume fever. And that comes from if you weld something with a zinc coating and you breathe the fumes, you will feel like you had the worst fever of your life, like you got hit by a truck. It's terrible. I've had it. You do not want it. Anyway, so grind the zinc coating off. Always grind the zinc coating off. You'll feel better. So anyway, I did that. If you're really not sure, too, here's a couple tips.
Didn't you do that? Didn't you?
This time I did.
You ground it off, but it wasn't.
This time I did. It was okay, but it wasn't quite enough. But here's how you know you might be welding something zinc. When you're welding, if you see a flash that looks green, more compared than what you're used to, you're welding zinc. If as soon as you stop welding, you see a white powdery residue around the weld, that's zinc.
how I always noticed.
Yep.
The white powder.
So that's the tips. And if you see that, stop what you're doing immediately. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Grind the zinc off, and especially then, do not breathe the fumes.
And this matters because this weekend I was using some scrap metal that you had kicking around, and I got that exact speech. I followed those instructions explicitly, uncharacteristic for me. And
Really?
And I'm good. I hit it with the flap wheel, and I took it off not even just the parts where I was welding. I took it off the entire chunk of metal. So
yeah, and it, it's really, I don't wish that on someone I don't like. So it's terrible.
Awful.
Yeah, it was bad. Especially I had to drive to Hartford in the BMW, which is not exactly a comfortable long highway cruiser car with the 19-inch wheels on it.
Awful.
Yeah. So anyway, so oil pan baffles are done. I put the one baffle on the one side with the flapper doors, and I put another one on the other side. There was a horizontal one to keep the oil from going up.
You did like the scraper thing too, right?
Well, that was the horizontal one on the other side,
Right.
because the car actually has some okay baffling like built into the part of the balance shafts and things. Like it's a Honda, it's a decent design to start with, but we're just making it a little bit better. So that was most of the weekend. So look out for our video coming there. But my biggest fun thing from that was Play-Doh.
yeah.
There you go.
And so while we've been talking, we're following the comments on the YouTube. One of our more sharper listeners who sends us Twinkies figured out what's going in the Honda and just typed that in there and then said, "Oh, have I mentioned I'm the judge for pit race?"
He's wrong on the engine that's going in there.
Oh, he's wrong?
Yeah, he's wrong.
He's guessing.
Yep.
He's
you're
guessing.
wrong.
Perfect. All right, great. So anyway, I also did a lot of welding this weekend.
Yes.
As I am
That's what you did all day today.
as I do when we do these cage weekends, I just weld a lot. Unfortunately, it's not like the time we caged the Rolls Royce. It was 95 degrees, and when you're welding, you really do need to wear long sleeve shirts.
Yeah.
And that was miserable. So today actually was like a lovely day to be welding. Like even lying upside down, like in the lotus position in the Z, no problem. Did a lot of welding. It was fine.
Over the years, you used to have to do all the welding. Now you just do
Correct.
most of the cage welding.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. And then sometimes it's a matter of just going over everyone else's welds and fixing them, which is okay.
Sorry, not sorry, Bruce.
Now, Bruce, did you need to repair some of Bruce's?
I think she was
Not the ones that this weekend.
I think this, yeah.
Not the ones from this weekend.
It's fine. Anyway, we want to make sure our welds are right. So I did that, and a lot of it was helping on small details for everyone else. Like it was a bit of like helping Chrissy with the intake and helping Mental with the mental masturbation of the radiator fan that he was going through.
Wow.
It's all that kind of thing that was going on. And so now the Civic, essentially, what it needs to be ready is wiring. We're deep
That's a
in
lot.
wiring
That's
hell.
big.
And it's big.
That's one
That's
word,
big.
but that's a lot of work.
It's huge. A gauge and light panel, because we are no longer able to use a stock gauge cluster. So we're going to have to make a new gauge cluster with the things we need. I've got little LED lights for all the warning lights and things that I just have to wire it all up from scratch. I need to put a header in it. The header is going to be here on Tuesday. Need to wire it. Basically I have to redo half the exhaust to get that to fit. And theming, because theming is critically important, and that's going to happen tomorrow. So that's me. I am out. Mic drop. Thank you.
So, well, and that leads to your section, Chrissy.
Sure.
So what did you work on this weekend?
I worked a lot on the intake. So we have Chris is really good at making a list of things that we need to work on for the race weekend, which is awesome sauce. So we set up a...
Although it's too low.
Hold.
Keep talking.
Okay.
Just stop when you hear
Okay,
it.
great. It's just like me. Mine's better, actually.
Better.
So we so Chris, before everybody got here this weekend on Friday, he put a great list together on all the things that need to happen on both cars, and so we basically, once you finish a job, you need to look at the list, figure out what's next, and work on it, which is awesome. So,
And I like that help when like you needed to be in the engine bay and Jeff was already in the engine bay. So, okay, what can I do right
what
now?
else can I do? Yeah.
Well, that's
exactly.
why it was good to have two cars, because sometimes you just couldn't get to the one
Quite.
car.
Yeah. And there's always a time where we can clean or move things around and, try and...
I don't clean.
I loved clean.
Well, and on that note, both on the car, what were you working on primarily today on the race cars?
Well, today was intake, I think, was the most thing that I was
No,
trying
I think intake we did yesterday because I painted it last night after you guys got done with it.
I was trying to finish it to get it off the list.
Yeah,
actually.
but no, I think weren't you?
Door bars.
Yeah,
door bars.
you were doing the fish mouth
You
thing. And
don't
all
have
that.
to just say today. You should say what you did all weekend.
You're right. So intake yesterday was a lot of work. So,
it was.
So we were trying
It's
to...
custom.
Yeah, it's very custom. Trying to make a cold-ish air intake, and it's still going to need some more work when we do it. It needs some more. What do you call it?
Fitting?
No. Splash shield.
Splash shield.
Oh,
Splash shield.
yes.
Because it's really basically in the wheel well, right?
Yeah.
So,
Got it.
but we had to do.
Can you not do a foam sock over that for the splash shield?
It's not going to be enough. We need.
Okay.
Plastic bucket.
No.
Zip
No.
screws.
No.
Done.
No.
Let's get
All right.
the easiest way is just throw a piece of metal in front of it, because it's right. It's in the wheel well right now,
Yeah.
and because we took our wheel well liners out. I don't
Years
even,
ago.
I don't think the car even had them when we bought it, because it
No,
already been
probably
crashed. I didn't even have them.
Okay.
So,
So
anyway,
we
wheel well
bought
liners.
we bought some parts of an intake, some piping, and we had
It's
to cut
just
the
exhaust
piping
tubing.
and to really fab it to fit the.
That was
car.
exhaust tubing?
Yeah.
That looked like thin wall aluminum.
It was the thinnest. It was the 18 gauge exhaust tubing.
Oh,
We-
okay.
For the diesel bros.
No,
We
I just bought a mandrel bend 180 of 3-inch exhaust tubing.
Yeah.
And
But seriously, that thing's huge.
That's big.
Okay,
It's
but
3-inch, which is only slightly. The throttle body's 2 3/4. So.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
yeah, so we had to really. It was a cut. that we needed-
That's the sound of Chrissy trying to get the floor
this
again by
happens
banging
all,
her.
all the fucking time. So
Wait, let me check. See, it's on my card.
On
Bingo
your bingo
card.
card,
Go
someone
ahead.
skips over Chrissy.
please
that
do.
counts.
I'm trying to tell you what somebody asked what I did today. It's the intake. So it came in a pipe. I had to make it 4 different ways how it was, all the cuts, make sure that it fit, and then we had all the we had a bunch of different hoses that needed to come off of it and different piping that needed to go off of it. So it was a lot of work. So it was a great. I'm sorry. Did you need to?
I was going to say the things that have to go into the intake are a breather hose for the valve cover,
Mhm.
and a intake air temperature sender.
Yes,
There
I
you
did
go.
that. It was
And-
great.
Chrissy was working hard with the stepper bit. I love that thing. Right?
What?
The stepper bit.
Stepper bit.
You were doing the stepper bit?
The big pyramid
The
drill
pyramid
bit that goes
drill
tick,
bit.
tick, tick,
Oh, I
tick.
didn't do that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that was me. Sorry. No, but Chrissy did all the design and getting it cut right and getting it in place. So.
Yeah, it was a lot of work, but it was one of those fabbing and great.
Yeah, but you were like working on your own car today.
I did, right. So the other thing I did was that we needed the pressure washer out because the Z engine bay was disgusting, gritty, gross,
Yeah, we mentioned
grody,
that.
ew. So we borrowed our neighbor's pressure washer. So we borrowed it, and I was like, no, we're going to do the walkway. And yes, I had a fan. I love pressure washing. I love it. I love it. I love it.
One snarky comment from getting her to do it
The problem with the pressure washing is that once you start, it's so hard to
I know.
stop.
I want to pressure wash everything, right?
Yeah.
So Mental says to me, he's like, the sidewalk's looking a little, and I was like, don't.
No, I could pressure wash everything. Like, let's pressure wash the floor of the trailer again. Let's pressure wash the driveway. Let's pressure wash every car we have in every single direction. It's all great because pressure washing is amazing. If you have a good gas pressure washer, the electric ones are useless. Don't even buy
we
them.
had a gas one.
I have an electric one. Yeah.
So we had a
You
gas
might as well
one.
just use the
It's
hose.
all right.
From the neighbor. We bought it. We borrowed it for the Z, and we did that. And then I decided that I was going to do the walkway and our stoop, like our big concrete plate.
Your stoop.
The Z went from like a
Exxon Valdez spill is what it looked like. It was.
a super fun
One.
site.
It looked like the penguins.
Yeah.
That you have to get the dawn out and like scrub them. That's what it looked like.
Yep. The little baby ducks.
They're like so oily. Oh.
Now it went from a super fun site to
Right.
like not tragic to work
It
on
was-
anymore.
Yeah.
Now,
Wonderful.
Have we talked about why that engine was so greasy?
Yes, we did last show. We talked about the
right.
the power steering
Power
pump that
steering
was
pump
leaking
that
all over the
helped
place.
a lot,
Okay. And,
and so it was great.
So
So
it's actually pretty dope now. It's looking
yeah,
good.
it's amazing now, really. But really, when the pressure washer's out, you're gonna do let's just do it. So we did that. I also did the spark plugs on my car. So I've really had some bad gas mileage, and it's been 65,000 miles since we did the. We put my engine into the car, so that and the 900 miles. No, wait,
When we put the engine in your car, it had 900 miles on it. So
That's a Ford
it's
Fusion.
a Ford
motor,
Fusion
2.5,
2.5, which is a Mazda design
Yeah.
and Mazda built, but
Big
put in.
block, yo.
BP, right?
So no, not a
That's
BP.
not a BP?
No, it's an L series. But
Oh, okay.
anyway, the plugs we pulled out said Ford on them.
Yeah, no, so they were dirty.
Motorcraft.
Nothing too bad, but really since my gas mileage is really notably bad, we decided we'll try them. So hopefully it's going to be better. And I did that today.
I thought it was kind of funny that we were all like kind of hidden in the garage working, and anyone who drove by would have just seen your working.
Yeah.
Like, you look like you were the only one working.
Well, and I did all day because everybody was in the garage all day. I walked out to cut piping I cut piping for the door bars, which is what I did the other part of the thing that I did today.
The spreaders, the little.
Yeah, the middle door bars, and I walked out, cut the pipe, came back in, fabbed it, all that stuff, but nobody saw anybody but me.
Exactly. You were
all
the
day.
only. We were all hiding in the garage.
Except
you
for
were
Mental,
doing all the work.
who should go next because
Yeah, go Mental.
Mental
Well, it's just
sat
yeah,
out
so all
sat
the neighbors,
day.
but all the neighbors drove by and go, "Man, that girl's working on 2 race cars, a Suburban. She's got her trailers out."
Yep, and then there's Mental. What did you do today? Go ahead.
So I was given 2 jobs this weekend, and I really kind of fouled them both up, but they're giving me a hard time.
No.
Well, so they asked me to.
We'll give you a hard time whether or not you follow something up.
That's
But
true.
I mean,
That's fair.
that's normal.
So my job is right from as I got here. Chris goes, "Oh, by the way, you'll be the one refitting the hood, and I need you to get on the cooling system." We talked about this. When I'm home, I'm
I
in
guarantee
my
he
garage.
volunteered. Oh, let me do the hood.
No. He was voluntold.
Oh, okay, all right. I wasn't here for that part of the day.
Because I knew this is a slight stretch project for Mental,
Yeah,
but also I knew that he would do it as well as any one of us, which is to say, not very. So
you knew you wanted it not to look good.
Well, I knew no matter what, it wasn't going to look good.
That's true. It's true.
But it was a good thing that he could sink his teeth into and do, and he has the skill sets to do it. He just needs to do it. Yeah.
So, but the big one's the cooling system, and it's nothing exotic, but you'd bought the 2 hoses, and the point that I kept making is I can't glue it back together once I cut these hoses to make this work. So I'm working through it in my head, and I've got blue painter's tape all over the hoses, and I'm writing stuff down, and I'm doing bad math on the shoebox that was on the workbench, and there's some equations on your 2x4 because I want to make sure. And I would just stand there, cross my arms, and I would work through it. And what they called it, they called it mental. It's now mental masturbation. But Jim, Chris, Chrissy, everybody walked by. What are you doing? What are you looking for? What do you need? What do you know? And I'm just, what I'm trying to do here, and this is just not working for the pace of this work weekend. Because and what would really start worrying you guys is when I would start talking to myself. What are you talking about? I'm not talking to you. Now, so if I do this and I cut this hose, I've got to.
You do talk to yourself quite a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
And
Because it's always me in my garage.
At first, I was concerned, and then I was like, eh.
Yeah. He's not talking about killing or sacrificing you into Zool the space gods.
No,
Okay, yeah,
we're
good.
How
we're good.
Mental works.
And
cool.
so, but we talked. So I had to pull that radiator in and out like 19 times, but we got it all figured out. And then we had to do and it is the world's ugliest bodywork welding on that hood, and it looks like someone just shot all the seams with a rapid fire BB gun from the state fair where you shoot out the center stars on that one. And I sat there with that hood in my lap, and that was my temperature sensor. I knew I was overheating the metal when I burned my knees. So I would move on to a different section. But again, anyone that drove by would see Chrissy power washing the front lawn, changing the spark plugs on her Mazda 3, grabbing stuff, fish mouthing door bars, and they just saw me sitting Indian with a camouflage hood on my lap.
Looking sad. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. The new motor doesn't clear the hood. So
no, there's a little bit more beating that needs to happen tomorrow. Yeah. That's good. But we're close enough for horseshoes, nuclear weapons, and sex. So I'm glad you put that perspective of expanding my comfort zone.
I have no idea what we're talking about. I was queuing something on my phone, and all I hear is horseshoes, nuclear weapons, and sex. I clearly
exactly close enough. Things
took off my headphones for entirely too long.
Things you can get close enough to and still be effective. How was it for you, honey? It was close. Good enough. Got to go work on the race car.
It's terrible.
But yeah, yes, neither of the cars are running, but there was just a lot of stuff that got wiped off the punch list this weekend. Everyone showed up. And on top of that, just had a great time. I've just been having a great weekend.
He's fixing his microphone cable. It's all twisted up.
It's all tangled up.
It's fine. There you go. I can actually turn it down here. So, are we to my PPE story?
Yeah.
Well,
totally.
Actually, we're yes, yeah.
Well,
I
does
can't wait.
anyone else have anything they want to talk about that they did this weekend that they don't feel like they had?
I
enough?
slept on the couch and I got very cold, and then
there was
sunlight,
4 blankets.
I know, but it wasn't that I didn't have blankets. It's that I woke up and it was chilly, and I just tried to make myself smaller to fit under the blankets, but then it was sunny, so then I tried to bury my head between the cushions, because you have no window treatments whatsoever.
Only on one window.
You do.
Sorry.
No,
Okay.
That one is
window treatments. Now they have window.
We do
Yeah,
have
yeah,
them.
but that's
we do
not
have
that
them.
gonna count.
Sorry,
you
not
guys
sorry.
know
I
worse.
brought
I
it up.
slept in a Volvo wagon Friday night at a truck stop
probably
in Virginia,
right.
and it was snowing. So
And you only
Okay,
had
sorry.
one guy offer to
So
I was
tonight-
having-
Lumpkin you? Is
I
that
was
where you're
having-
going? Is that where you're going?
I was having
Tonight-
a bad
tonight you
hair
wanna-
day.
hey,
If
bad,
I'd been,
and
if
you'll
I'd
be
been
fine.
rocking the do full tilt, I think I would have gotten a few more offers.
Sorry, not sorry.
Probably.
We don't keep window treatments because we hate window treatments.
It's fine.
You
Anyway,
know what?
keep going.
It's a warm house.
It's a warm
Well,
house.
now
It's
you have
fine.
a bed again tonight.
Yeah, probably because the fire went out. That's probably why.
That's true.
Eventually.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was lovely, and I don't have any qualms about staying on the couch. The couch was very comfortable.
Yeah,
but I
fire was
do
on,
want
and
to
Bruce
I
just
do want to
pointed out the
say
fire was on and died out.
yes, I do want to say that the PPE story. For those of you who don't
Please.
know, PPE is Chrissy.
Personal protective equipment.
Yes, and my favorite not my favorite, one of my favorite pieces of PPE. Not condoms. My knee pads are probably my favorite.
I was
That's
going
true.
to go with knee pads.
Everyone knows
but
definitely
my,
knee
my
pads.
second favorite is my
Eyes.
my glasses.
Eyes,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
my safety
Eyes,
glasses.
yes, safety
So I was helping cook part of the St. Patrick's Day dinner. I was making Auntie Fee's chicken. Google it.
It's
So
It's worth Googling.
good.
it's
It's
worth
worth
Googling,
So
but
good.
How do you spell fee? Like anti-fee?
it's AUNTIEFEE.
Okay.
and
Thank you.
ignore the thing about sitting on the counter for 2 hours, but every other piece of advice she gives is actually not bad.
So
Don't do
I
that.
said, so I like 10 minutes before everyone else, I was like, I got to go in because I got a quick shower and I got to cook. So I run upstairs, I gathered my stuff and took it out of the living room because the guests were already here and I was still using the living room as my bedroom. I took it upstairs, I threw it in the cat-free room because my brother had moved out, and I went over, grabbed clothes, jumped in the shower, and realized I still had on my safety glasses. So I'm in the shower with my safety glasses going, well, I bet Chrissy would approve. Chrissy would not be against this.
No way. No way.
That is epic. That is truly, truly good.
But your eyes were safe.
Yeah.
Totally.
But
No
you need,
shampoo in his eyes.
No
but
shampoo.
you need to take them off so you can wash around your
Yes,
eyes
yes.
because
Well, that's how I
you're
noticed.
fucking dirty.
Because the first thing you do is like you splash water in your face, and it was like bink. So, there's my PPE story. Oh man, we're dropping microphones. We're gonna okay. We're gonna keep going here. I just my story was over, and I had nowhere to go. So if everyone's
that's great.
talking,
I'm
what's
so glad.
are we gonna go on to Hella Sweet or But Terrible?
Hey, Chrissy, do you have any updates on your heel-toe progress?
Ooh, that's a great question.
No, that's a no face.
I do. So
It also gets me bingo.
Oh!
you're a butt and
No.
you're a butt.
Ass.
No, it's not. He's not wrong. I'm gonna admit something that I don't want to admit.
Go ahead, click heel toe on there.
So I've really.
Click heel toe, and then I'll show it to the
So
camera.
I literally have a heel toe sticker on my car. I have a
On your dash.
my
Sticky
dash.
note. A stick like a
Sticky
3M
note.
sticky note.
It says heel toe, and it reminds me all the things that I should be doing. And I try, and I really try to do it when I.
When you can't.
I'm
But
on-
you said this week, you told me this week, you got it one day.
I did get it one day.
Keep going.
I know. I'm trying to say what happened. I don't want to admit what I was doing. So basically, I had been.
Because, we're sorry. I had my microphone off. Because we're so full of hubris here, we can't admit our
just
mistakes.
say it. Just go.
We're sobs.
Go fast. Get it
So
done.
I have been braking, and braking with the correct part of my foot, but I had been gassing, but I'm not with the clutch not in.
Oh. Okay.
So when because I've been trying to do it in multiple parts, so I had been braking, and then I was not gassing when it was, and so it wasn't stabbing
Sure.
stabbing
You
the gas.
you were rev matching, but your foot was not on the clutch.
Right.
So,
So I
that
was just going
was-
faster. I was like, it wasn't.
Yeah.
I know.
So you're accelerating. That's
There's
great.
nothing wrong
and,
with that.
and braking at the same
Yeah,
time.
Right.
Yeah, that's
right.
great.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
But,
So
but you figured it out now. So
Yes.
And your foot was on the clutch. It just wasn't applying enough pressure on it.
No, I was not.
No.
No,
Okay.
because I was doing because Chris said do it multiple steps, right? So I'm like, I am braking, and I'm brake with the correct part of my foot.
sure, because I told Chrissy, try to do it in multiple steps. One step is get your foot in the right place. Like you have to just be used to braking with the ball of your foot only on the brake pedal, so that the rest of your foot is available.
Yes.
And then, so that's step one. Another step is separately think about rev matching to just blip the gas before you downshift.
So when I
Now
blip
you
the
have,
gas,
then after you do those, you can combine them.
when I blip the gas, when I'm driving, I brake, no clutch. Right.
I totally understand.
Yep.
What
So
you're doing. I totally understand what
I
you're doing.
neglected to tell her.
You
don't-
should have the clutch
I know
down
this.
at the same
No,
time.
but I neglected to say you should have your clutch in before you blip. So,
Yeah.
This is important things to tell people who are trying to do this.
But
Like,
the thing is like I know this because I drive it.
well,
I've driven it.
now you do, but if you're
No.
taking my advice literally, you don't.
I mean, I do because I've driven a clutch for 20 years,
However
right?
long.
Like I've done. I know.
No, and I'm going to go with her on this one. Last weekend I was hanging out with the Hoggers out at Atlanta Motorsports Park, and Matty had me go out with him in his Spec E30 he had built. And you do fall into these kind of unaware habit patterns. And what he was doing is every time we would dig into a corner, he would brace himself with his outside leg against the door, but his foot was on the clutch. and as soon as he had to flex that leg, we're slipping the clutch a little bit. And he's not dumb. He knows how to drive. But I'm over there looking at his feet, and I had to start slapping his leg. I'm like, get your foot off the clutch, because you're going to shorten the cluch mileage. And he was doing everything right, but it's just one of the things.
But that costs you a quarter second out of the corner. So right there,
and it's going to cost you
That
20,000 miles off your clutch.
I was
going to
say that little pressure on your clutch makes a difference.
And he just kind of looked down. He's like, crap, I'm not even aware that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Because we get into habit patterns and we do things subconsciously. So recognize, blipping your throttle, right thing to do, and then recognizing, oh, my foot's in the right place. I just didn't push. It's a learning process.
Cool.
Yeah, so I actually did it the correct way, right time. So
cool.
I did it.
All right, so
I believe we're on to the last segment. I do have one more quick story. I drove Mental's Hoopty to the supermarket.
Which is all of...
It's like 3 blocks.
Yeah, it's less than half a mile away.
Now I have to sell it because Jeff says it sucks.
I didn't say it sucks. Okay, so we should mention what the hell is it? It's tell the year and everything.
1986 Volvo 240 wagon, 245 technically, that my brother gave me because my brother
I didn't
is
ask where it
awesome.
came from. I just said what it
So-
said.
I don't matter.
when-
I'm just giving a shout out to my brother who doesn't listen.
When Jeff was about to go to the store, because his truck is hooked to his trailer, he's not going to take his truck. So he said, I need someone's keys. So I hold him the keys to the AMG Mercedes. And he says, no, I want to take Mental's thing.
I said, why would I drive the high-powered luxury German vehicle when I could drive a totally clapped-out Volvo station wagon? So yeah, long roof for life. Check it off your sheet. I was quite impressed by the sexiness of the wagon because in the pictures it looks like a Volvo, but he's got it all stickered up now. He's got the big wheels on it. They're like
17s.
They're like
The 17's off of an S40.
off an S40. They're good-looking wheels. It's white. We've already discussed that I'm strangely attracted to white cars.
Well, and honestly, the paint on that car is in really good shape.
it's in really good shape.
The
He's
rocker panel's not so much.
No, rocker panels are
Yeah,
dead.
screwed.
So I'm like, the second I saw it, I said, man, Rental, I would rock the hell out of that thing daily. And he goes, I do. And I'm like, yeah. So then when it became chance to take it, I took it. I drove that thing 3 blocks, and I said, no, this is a rattle-trappy piece of crap. And I would not daily drive this. I would be annoyed in a week daily driving this.
I think your
And
actual
why?
words
And
were,
why?
your words were, I'm too bougie
I'm
for
too
this
bougie.
car.
I did say that. I did say I'm too bougie.
And Mental fought you on it, actually.
I'm annoyed by my 2011. The only thing that I'm annoyed about on my brand new Titan is it has Bluetooth, but it only connects for phone calls, and I can't stream my podcast to the Bluetooth.
Yeah.
That's like
That's like a Mercedes.
I'm like,
Yep.
Jesus, why can't? Oh.
No, but
Because
Mental.
my Volvo will totally play the podcast.
But Mental was so he was.
Yeah,
he was, and he was like, "Oh, you're bullshit, Mazda."
He sat in the
Doesn't
corner
do
a little while and listened to some REM. And yeah,
Talk to
Aria,
myself.
no,
exactly.
no, we didn't. No, Mental was like, "No way."
No, it's an excellent car.
He bullshit.
No, it's an excellent car, and your brother is very nice for giving it to you, and for you it is perfect. I'm just saying, I'm at the point in my life. I just had my. How old am I again? Check my math.
You're a year
Fucking
younger than
old.
I am.
47.
Oh
You're
my
a year
God.
younger than me.
47.
You guys
So
are
yeah, I just
so
turned 47.
It's like the
and
4th time we've had this
Oh my
conversation
God,
this
you're
week.
so old.
I'm a little bit past dailying a hoopty.
Just go buy a Lincoln Town car and shut up.
Well, it
you
was
both
funny.
are
He's like,
so-
I need to be comfortable and have my coffee, and I'm like, okay, yeah, my Volvo has no cup holders.
No,
Yeah.
no, not even pretend ones.
It's not just cup holders. It's
No.
like, yeah.
Your
there it
guys
is.
are ridiculous.
Alrighty. Hella sweet or but terrible time.
Okay. Oh,
So,
that's cute.
that was
I like
cute.
that.
That was fun.
So we're talking about Lemon's cars that make annoying or stupid sounds. So there are some Lemon's cars out there. We could talk about the Nyan Cat car. There are several in several coasts, right?
The Nyan Cat never bothers me. Every time it goes
Every
by, and
time.
and I just smile. I go, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Everybody
So
knows.
now we also have some.
There was the MR2 duck car that just played the loop from A Christmas Story. Fra ra 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 ra.
Or it's us with the boat playing I'm on a boat.
I'm on a boat, but no, we actually
No.
only played that. We didn't play that during the race.
No.
But during the
that's
parade,
really
The
what I'm
CMP
talking
parade,
about.
we never stopped.
I'm talking about things that
and Matt never stopped dancing.
cars that make sound, whether they be annoying or a song during the race. And the one that I want to talk in our area is the Inspector Gadget Mobile. Because, it's a good car. It's a 240, right?
240.
240 SX,
240
yeah.
SX. It looks pretty good.
It looks exactly
It looks
like
exactly
the
like the
Gadget
Inspector
car.
Gadget. But the speaker that they have on it is terrible.
Oh, it's like the tiniest little
it's like a horn.
but it has a cone on it, whatever it is. It's like a PA
It's like a
speaker.
bull-
It looks like the one
Yeah.
from the
Yes.
Blues Brothers, the Bluesmobile.
Yes.
You know,
It's much smaller.
but-
one
yes.
night only.
But the quality of it is awful.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful. It's very loud, but the quality is so bad.
It's a speaker that was designed to go.
a speaker that's designed to say, "Bus leaving on platform 9."
There's Nyan Cat. Thank you. So the question is, hella sweet or but terrible? If you had sounds that your Lemon's car made, should you play it just in the paddock, or should you play it pretty much 24/7?
All right, I'll start us off. It depends on the car and the sound.
Agreed.
Nyan Cat is kind of like a pleasant little fun thing. Like
Sorry, that's just some noise coming
Yeah.
here.
Nyan
Hey,
Cat,
we're getting some feedback from our live listeners, and one of the person, Craigers actually mentioned, or Kurt rather, Cordia. We were at the CNP race. Cordia!
so,
Cordia!
something like Nyan Cat, like this. Like this is kind of like pleasant. Like okay, right. This
Well,
is fun.
and it helps
When it
that their
come
car's
around.
not that fast.
No.
So you
No,
get
but-
around it really quick.
But when it come around, you're like,
Like you smile for 2 seconds,
goes around.
and then you're gone, and that's fine.
Fine.
So it has to be a pleasant sound.
I think so, because if like, and actually one of the things the Inspector Gadget guys have done that I thought was funny is they put like a Formula One
Yes.
lap on. So it was.
Okay, so hella
And
sweet
that
or
was
but
fun.
terrible. How hella sweet or but terrible is this sound? Wires
That's
working,
no
please.
sound. So
Come on.
It's there.
I think I got it. Thanks, Jeff. Thank you.
But what if it kept playing?
All right. That playing constantly is
No,
quite terrible,
No.
in my opinion.
And
But
I think
No.
this is where we're getting to the devices, because I'm still laughing, and
So-
you're already annoyed.
my opinion is that playing constantly is but terrible.
Okay.
But that playing at the right occasions, even if it's often, but the right occasions. Like if you pass a friend of yours, like when when I pass Matt Faridas in the Sorry for Party Firebird, and I play that, and I stick my metal horns out the window. It's good.
Now we're okay.
So, but constantly not good. All right, next.
Leak show.
No, hella sweet or but terrible. Same noise all the time. Chrissy.
No. Depending on what it is. Nyan Cat. I love Nyan Cat.
Sorry, I didn't have my microphone on. That would have been helpful. How annoying is this?
I like leak show. Yeah, let's go. Yes, let's do like it.
Now, what if there was a fat guy and an attractive girl dancing to this? Would that be annoying?
No. Leak
while,
show.
While you're
It's
driving,
happening.
you can't do that. So
True. This would be a paddock only kind of thing.
then that's fine. In Paddock, you do whatever the hell you want.
Pretty much at this point.
I like leak show all the time. Let's go.
right.
Let's do it.
I remember
Mental.
a GRM challenge years ago, and the Hongers had a General Lee horn on their CRX. And the first time they hit it, everyone laughed. And the second one they had, everybody kind of smiled. And about the third time they hit it, everyone just kind of looked at them. By the 19th time they did it, which they had it hooked up to their nitrous switch, so every time they hit the nitrous, it would go off again. And all of a sudden, it stopped working on Saturday.
I think the public approval level of something like that is the exact inverse of a bell curve. At first it's funny, and then it's really not funny, and then it's funny again.
And so they spent all day Saturday they've got a testing light, and they're trying to figure out where the short is. And what they figured out is Guido, the killer clown, had stuffed a clown nose in every one of the horns, so it wasn't making any noise.
I miss Guido.
Yes.
He had that Starion that
And,
sounded like an airplane. The turbos
Yeah.
whine.
Before we kick into this, so my friend Brian, who runs out of Texas, the property devaluation team, he has an open seat in New Orleans at the end of March. So anybody that's interested in running NOLA, and if you've never been to NOLA, you want to run NOLA. So if you're interested and you know what you're doing, get a hold of us at everyone.racers, and I'll put you in touch with Brian.
How long the straightaway at NOLA?
3,200 feet, baby. Woo! And it's a well-sorted car. It finished second there last year. Brian knows what he's doing. It's a good team, and you guys would have a lot of fun. He's looking at about $1,200 for the weekend.
What's our time look like on this podcast, Chris?
We're at an hour and 15 minutes.
All right, so
now.
it's probably time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
It is.
Beyond time.
We're on time. So, does anyone have a next show promo?
Chrissy,
No.
you do.
It's next Friday.
She does. She's waiting.
I
have
do.
to vamp. Go ahead.
So, right? For those local to Mental, it's coming. 37th annual. Shut up! Stop. 37th annual Atlanta International Auto Show.
It's Atlanta's spring thing where you can shop and
You
compare.
still get the music.
Compare hundreds of new cars, trucks, and SUVs from over 24 manufacturers in one location. You'll see debuting models for 2020, the latest in alternative fuel vehicles, and great special attractions like the GM Futureliner. That's actually pretty cool. It's only once a year, 5 big days. You won't want to miss it. March 20th through the 24th at the Georgia World Congress Center. Mental will be there this Wednesday, so go any other day than that. This is not like an OEM show. It's a consumer show, so it's targeted at you. There's going to be factory and dealer representatives to answer your questions, not just hired spoke models, but there's probably some of them too. This coming Friday, we're going to have Brian Medford from the Napa Know-How blog. We had him on last year. He's a great local journalist there, and we like having him on. He's an old school GRMer, so we're going to talk about our favorite cars from 2019 and beyond. Mental's playing some live events from the show, ideally a live walkthrough of the Futureliner. So stay tuned. Follow all the Auto Show media links and whatnot in our show notes. So this Friday, our guest Brian Medford's here to talk about our favorite cars. So, hey, questions for Brian or Mental or any of us, drop us a line. Thanks, buddy.
So, sorry, I have to pick up and do both at the same time here. Hold on. Vamp for 1 second. Okay, there we are. I had to switch music.
Speaking of annoying songs play over and over.
Thank you for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's live edition of Everyone Racers. We hope you join us in the world of driving, racing, and building because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Don't unplug anything. It makes a bad snapping sound. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating, even if you didn't like us. Give us 5 stars and tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers, or email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless the greasiness from your power steering pump has created no shiny side, then just let Chrissy power wash it because it's her favorite thing to do. And keep those wheels down.